Hi, my name's Phil. I'd like to talk about politics, and Reform UK seem to be shifting up another gear in aping their American sponsors who are well advanced with their Project 2025 stateside and would like to introduce it here in Britain. Farage has started to ease himself into anti-vaxx conspiracy theories. His party is now questioning the role of women in the workplace, and they are trying to provoke yet more racially motivated violence, which will have the effect of dividing society further, as well as causing damage to our economy and public services. Reform UK are nothing more than foreign-backed saboteurs. But first, for daily news and commentary, please click the subscribe button so you don't miss out. So, I really don't want to have to discuss attempts to divide us again this summer. If anything, the forces attempting to do so on both sides are more organised, more eager. If we just look at what Reform UK, who are by far the most effective anti-British sabotage group around at the moment, and what they've been up to this week. First, Nigel Farage starts to lean into the anti-vaxx conspiracy theories. Now, this is one area he didn't degrade himself with a few years ago. When we left the EU and the Brexit Party rebranded into Reform UK, they really struggled in the polls as they didn't really have a platform. In time, the Tory failure over post-Brexit asylum provided them with a lifeline. Without it, I think they'd still be grubbing around with UKIP for votes. But back before the small boat scandal became newsworthy, they were struggling. The only big populist conspiracy to latch onto at the time was anti-vaxx nonsense. Now, Reform UK, to their credit, didn't bother with this, yet now Farage is. What changed? Well, let me hazard a guess. Farage is really best understood these days as a Trump puppet. He has always been the mouthpiece of hostile foreign forces for years, but Trump most of all in recent times. Trump is not anti-vaxx. In fact, I remember seeing him get booed by his supporters some years ago for suggesting they get vaccinated. Yet Trump has now appointed an anti-vaxxer to run the US Health Department, and American healthcare is now about to enter a period of unscientific approaches which will blight them for years, maybe decades to come. A mighty coincidence that in the same year Trump gives tacit support for this nonsense, Reform UK do the same. Some Reform UK councillors have been boasting in Lancashire, of attending a meeting headed up by an anti-vaxx conspiracy theorist. But it hasn't stopped there. They are now advancing the anti-women agenda of the far right in America. Their well-resourced push to make people in both the US and the UK more transphobic over the past few years has really been working, but also was just a vanguard for moves to remove women's rights in general. We've already seen the main policies being pushed in the United States. We're just a little bit behind the curve in Britain, but it's coming. Reform UK began this week. Sarah Pochin said women shouldn't serve in the police, or if they did, it should only be for sensitive jobs. If they must do other police work, they should be accompanied by a male officer. They've changed their tune. Don't they normally criticise conservative Muslim countries for treating women like this? Naturally, they got their only female MP, Sarah Pochin, to deliver the message. It's how the far right do these things, isn't it? Women to deliver anti-women messages, people of colour to deliver racist messages, Muslims to deliver Islamophobic messages, and so on. It's why Farage keeps his hands so clean most of the time, I guess. He literally represents nobody he's trying to attack. He's a privately educated, multimillionaire, old white bloke. But this is an unmistakable move to align themselves with the far right of America further. I'm at this point, I'm wondering exactly what the reason is. Like, is it a condition for funding? In which case, are they not concerned about Labour's move to ban foreign funding? Or are they just trying to do it before the gate closes? Or do they think they have a cunning plan to avoid that? Or are Reform UK doing this now because they are increasingly confident of being able to implement their own Project 2025 in Britain? Project 2029 in their case, I guess. Because being so openly anti-vax and anti-women like this seems new for them. That you get two such major policy shifts in the same week doesn't seem to me to be a coincidence. Then, of course, we had Lee Anderson potentially risking a contempt of court, like his mate Tommy Tomnanes. He was told not to prejudice the live case in Nottinghamshire by police and wrote a great long tweet about how he agonised about it, but then thought sod it. Because they're not bothered about justice or bringing criminals to justice. In fact, if the people being investigated and potentially prosecuted happen to be foreign or even have a foreign sounding name, they prefer it if the trial collapses. And they love it if they can claim, well, the current system can't cope, so we should drop our human rights laws. It's exactly what all those dollars and rubles and I guess now Bitcoin is buying. And of course, they've all been trying to provoke another summer of racially motivated riots. This is, of course, where the far right are uniquely destructive. They are attempting to bring chaos to our streets again. Why? It will hit the economy again. It will hurt public service resources. It will increase the sense that the government can't keep people safe. So, of course, they should vote for those behind the attacks to do that, right? It is a deliberate attempt to weaken Britain and the people of Britain. It is an incredibly obvious act of national sabotage. These are people acting in concert with foreign forces, openly so, attempting to damage the UK. Boggles my mind that the police are not investigating what seem to me obvious attempts to incite violence and general lawlessness. In the United States, the Biden administration was weak on Trump's insurrection, presumably not wanting to seem like prosecutions were political, so they went easy in hopes that other law enforcement, a bit more distant from the government, did the trick. Look where they are now. We had riots last summer where the government empowered law enforcement to get them under control quickly. Now that worked, but I said at the time, if they do not take out those instigating and organising, there would be nothing to stop them from continuing. Those behind these acts of sabotage and terrorism are free right now. And they can always find more grunts to throw into the meat grinder. But only so many people are in a position to organise and incite. You take those out of the equation, the rest aren't going to do it on their own. Are we really going to allow Tommy Robinson to go to sensitive areas and incite violence? Are we really going to let Nigel Farage incite violence? Why? The police are not acting. I think they already have the powers to do so, but I'm not an expert. But if they don't, empower them further. We cannot actually descend into the lawless state which Farage claims is already here. Like an arsonist complaining of the smoke whilst hiding the can of petrol behind his back. I do not want to be spending this summer discussing the descent of my country into chaos again. To see people falling for the cons that will put them in prison and innocent people in a state of fear. There are a relatively small number of people making this violence happen, and I think the police know who they are. If we can arrest someone for holding up a copy of Private Eye, we can bloody well arrest someone for incitement, which is already a criminal offence, is it not? But let me know what you think in the comments below. For more content, you could subscribe to the channel or even join for access to streams and behind the scenes updates. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.